And we are live on YouTube. 2 seconds. I just need to go on these other apps and get sorted. Live on TikTok, live on Instagram, and we are now live on all 3 different platforms at the same time. Folks, thank you very much for whoever's listening so far for jumping on. I'm actually going to do these live streams every single day, and I've now made a commitment that I'm going to do one of these every day until my event. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think consistency is always going to win, and then the second thing that's always going to win is authenticity. And the most authentic thing that you can do, the most real that you can be, is on a live. Because if anything goes wrong, or if I say the wrong thing, or if I say something stupid, it's there. So it forces me to actually become a better speaker as a result, by actually having to sit here, by having to speak to the screen. There's about 15 people on between the platforms that I'm on right now. I've literally got 15 people sitting in right now, listening. If I fuck up, I fuck up, but this is going to improve me. It's going to improve my skills just for speaking. And today was actually, I know I'm doing this every day, but today was actually one of the hardest days I found to do something like this. There's been a few bumps today, to say. Just a bit of in-person hate. There's just different things I don't want to get into, but my point is this was one of the days. Today's one of the days where it would actually be very, very easy to not do this. It would have been very, very easy for me to say, I'm just going to put my feet up, I'm going to put on a movie, going to go out, going to get some food, or just find something else to entertain myself. But it's actually the days when you don't want to do it. That's what matters the most. Because if I only did it when I was motivated, if I only did it when I wanted to do it, then there would be no room to improve. I'm not really being consistent. Consistency is doing the thing when you actually don't want to do it. Discipline is doing the thing when you actually don't want to do it. If you train every single day, but you actually enjoy training, you're not really that disciplined. But I'm not going to get into that. What I'm actually going to get into today is learning from every single thing that comes up in your life. Like, for example, today, the shit that I faced today, I'm going to learn off it. I'm going to learn off the back from that. And I'm going to learn from, myself, from like journaling on it and like adapting after this situation happened. You also learn from other people, but then you also learn the third way from teaching other people. So there's 3 different areas where you can learn from. Right now, this is the one where I'm actually showing other people. And whenever I have a conversation with one of my mentors, I'll be learning from someone else. And then there's also learning from yourself too, which I've done just before this. But what I want to get into, I've got 3 different points that I want to bring up. And the first one is that it is actually impossible to learn from one, which, by the way, I'm reading this, I've just got the main point up here. It is impossible to learn that which one thinks already knows. And what that means is, if you think that you already know stuff, if you already have a bit of an ego, I actually pulled this out of a book, Ego is the Enemy. If you already have an ego, you're not going to be able to improve and adapt. And a lot of us will look at people who are quote unquote successful, people online, people on TV, and we will say, and I'm actually going to write this down just because it's like the topic. And this is actually the big word of the day. Mind my handwriting, but it is ego. This is not going to serve you. This is not going to bring you forward. This is the enemy. And the idea of ego is sometimes really misunderstood. So ego isn't just, okay, I think I'm the best in the world. Look at me, I'm amazing. Ego is actually a lot more internal. Ego is the thing that actually stops us from doing something because we don't want to be embarrassed. My ego would have stopped me today from doing this live because I couldn't be fucked, because I couldn't be bothered, because I don't want to. It's basically like a public speaking gig. There's over 20 people on this between all the platforms. It would have been ego that would be getting in the way if I said, you know what, I'm not going to do this. And that's what's going to stop you. That's what's going to hold you back. And ego will also stop you from actually learning from other people, because there's always something you can learn from everyone and anyone. Even if someone isn't the best person, you can still learn from them. You can take the bad things and do the opposite. If someone's like very similar to you, you can still, sorry, my phone is low. All right, we're back. If someone's very, very similar to you, you can still learn from them. And if someone is quote unquote below you, I don't really think people are just naturally below you, but if someone hasn't achieved the success, by the way, success is very subjective, but if someone hasn't achieve the success that you have, you can still learn from them. You can learn from absolutely everything. Like, for example, I learned today from hate. I actually picked up a lot from it. And I learned a lot about myself, how I deal with things, how I deal with my emotions, and actually how other people deal with their emotions too. You can learn off that as well. But the quote, as it says, it is impossible to learn that which one thinks already knows. So if you want to learn more about a topic, if you want to be better with nutrition, if you want to be better with training, if you want to be better with business, with mindset, it's impossible to get better and it's impossible to learn unless you actually take the time to learn. So don't always think that you know everything. And I would never dream of coming online on social media and claiming to know everything. I don't. I do not know everything about training. I don't know everything about nutrition. I don't know everything about business. I don't know everything about self-growth or self-improvement. Even though I'm running a self-improvement event, I don't actually know everything about it. And anyone that does claim to know everything about a topic, normally that's when they're a bit of a fraud or a scammer or a guru. That's what you would call a guru. But understand, nobody knows everything. Do not take everyone's or anyone's word for granted. Always take things off your own judgment, but still learn from different people in different places. Never look at anyone as like a saint, or I have to do what this person says, or I have to do what my parent says, or I have to do what my mentor says, or what my boss says. Obviously, if it's in work, that's a different situation. But if you're taking life advice from people, do not, even me right now, I'm on this live, do not take everything I say for granted. There's going to be bits of advice that I give in my lives that aren't going to be applicable for where you're at currently. So take everything I say, take everything you hear online, on TikTok, no matter who it is that's speaking, with a pinch of salt, because no one understands your actual specific situation. No one understands what it is you're actually going through. No one understands your background, and no one actually can predict the future. So you need to have that trust with yourself. You need to remove ego, and you still need to learn from other people. We're getting some questions in. I'm going to go answer all questions at the end. So if you do have questions, just fire it in. And then I'm just going to go through all the questions at the end. I've just got another wee point that I want to get through, and then we're going to answer all questions. So yeah, the other thing I wanted to touch on is that your passion is blinding. So a lot of people will say, if you want to do really, really good in something, you need to be passionate. And passion can help, but how many people do you know that are passionate about something that don't actually move forward in that specific subject or that specific topic? I could be very, very passionate about cooking, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be a good chef. My food could still be absolutely shit. I could be very, very passionate about acting, but have absolutely no gigs booked. What's actually more important than passion is, number one, purpose. So you actually know what you're doing it for. And passion comes from within. Passion is actually very, as this word says, and I know you can't really read my handwriting, but passion is actually very, very egotistical. It's passionate, okay, I'm doing this for me. Of course, you need to have that selfishness, but you should always do 50% something for yourself and then 50% something for other people. So like for example, with me building my business, I'm building my business to serve me so I can live my life how I want. I can impress myself and make myself proud, but I can't only build it for me and myself, because it's not going to work that way. Like, you need to also serve other people and help other people in the way. So then the other 50% is then helping other people and improving other people's lives. So yes, be selfish. Yes, improve your own life, but then also at the same time, make sure that you're helping and improving other people's lives. So yes, passion is well and good, but passion without purpose, which comes from outside, your purpose comes from, your purpose is going to be something bigger than you. Your passion is going to be you. Purpose is going to be bigger than you. Purpose, but then also what's more important than purpose is a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're not going to move forward. And if you're not reviewing, you're not going to move forward. So passion, it's okay. Passion is like, let's say there was like a board. So this is like going up. Passion would be here. Passion's like, it's all right. Purpose would be here. It's a lot better because there's a lot more reason for you to actually do the thing. And then plan would be up here. Plan is, how do you draw a crown? That's a crown. Plan is on top. If you have a plan, it's going to be so much more important than just being passionate about something and just having the purpose. So it goes passion, purpose, plan. Plan is the most important thing. You want to build a business? Great. You're passionate about it? Great. Why do you want to do it? What's your actual mission? What's your purpose behind it? That's number one. And then number two, what's your plan behind it? If you don't have the plan, nothing's happening. You're not going to move. So make sure you have the purpose and the plan. Remember, passion is blinding. Replace it with purpose and a plan, and that makes so much more sense. And then the last point I want to get into, just before I go into a bit of Q&A and we wrap things up, is to provide value and help everyone you come across, because it's actually an investment that's going to pay dividends. And what I mean by that is a lot of people, and I actually see it with other coaches and like different people that do what I do on social media, like they wouldn't want to give out information or answer other people's questions or provide value to other people. Like, for example, if I had a coach that asked me a question on coaching or asked me a question on getting clients, a lot of people would be like, oh, why would I tell this person this? They see them as their competition. But it's actually very important to help every single person you come across, because number one, you actually learn from helping other people. Whenever you provide value to someone else, you gain wisdom from providing that value. So if you avoid teaching other people, if you avoid helping other people because you're like, no, I'm only going to serve myself. Why would I want to build up my competition? Why do I want to show my friend to go to the gym? What if they get a better physique than me? If you always avoid that, then you're never actually going to adapt. That's actually going to get you stuck. That's going to keep you stuck. I'm trying to visualize this. I'm not even going to try to visualize this. I'm a very bad drawer. I need a proper whiteboard. But yes, it is going to actually keep you stuck if you choose not to help other people. And then the second thing is that, yes, selfishly, if you help other people, that's an investment in someone else. You help someone else, and down the line, whenever you're looking to call in a favor, whenever you do need something and you do need a bit of help, well, who's going to be there to help you? Those people are likely going to be there to help you, and you shouldn't expect anything. Of course, some of them won't be there to help you. And it's not on you to be like, oh, this should have helped me. You shouldn't have any expectations, but naturally you help more people. They are going to help you down the line. So make it a point. We've got 17 people on the 2 lives right now. Make it a point. Every single person that you come across, help them. Put in a bit of effort. If someone asks you a question, take actually a bit of extra time. If you have that time, yes, be respectful of your own time, especially if you're like you're working, you're in the business, or you're doing social media or whatever, or you're just very busy, as we all are. But if you do have a bit of time, just spend that time, sit down and actually help them out. Like, I had a guy ask me a question. He's another coach, about like building out his program, how to do his mission. And I spent a good 5 minutes actually helping him out, voicing him. And then he ended up buying a ticket for my event. And like, I didn't expect anything. That just naturally happened as a result of helping other people. There's also people that I've helped that will never buy a ticket for my event, and that's okay. But the act of giving, the act of helping someone else, it gives you fulfillment, and it gives you purpose, and it gives you could say, passion yourself. So right now, if you're actually not feeling that great within yourself, start helping more people. Like, you naturally will just get more energy back. That's when I get the most energy. Whenever I'm serving someone else, whenever I'm helping someone else with their goal, whenever I can see someone else progressing with the advice that I give, it's so great. And you have the power to do that. And you might not be an expert in everything or anything. And I'm definitely not an expert in anything, but you can still always help someone in one way or another. So it's a waste if you don't. Make sure that you do it. It's very important. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about today in the live. We've still got 17 people on. I got a few questions in, so if you have any questions, ask away now, because we are going to actually wrap this up here after. I think that was a good time of a live. I don't want to be on these lives for too long, and then we'll go from here. So yeah, if you have questions, please ask them now. We've got one question from Sean. Do you have any further plans to visit United States? Yes, so I'm going to visit United States. Some of you may know I'm actually going monk mode for the next 12 and a half months until the end of 2026. No drink, working at one location, flat out with business and the job. That's what I'm going to be doing. So as the reward, what I'm going to do after monk mode is I'm actually going to book a trip to the United States. And I've wanted to go to the United States for ages. So that is going to be really good. I'm really excited for that. And see, whenever you have a reward like that set in, you're going to be far more likely to actually follow through with your goals. So if you're setting goals, set a reward with your goal, and then also actually set a forfeit with your goal. If you don't follow your goal, if you don't achieve what you set out to achieve, are you going to buzz your head? Or you do something like that? Because then you have something that you're running away from, and then you also have something that you're running towards. Very important. Any questions, guys? Far away. We got bloopers. Just wondering what you're doing if your bird starts pulling the G rock. I don't even know what you're saying. Celebration every time. I have no idea what you're saying, brother. Any proper questions, ask away, and then we're going to wrap up this live. Yes, okay, this is a great question. So, do you still get social anxiety when you push yourself to do things, or are you almost numb to it? No. So, I'm going to be completely honest to the 20 people on live right now. A lot of you might see my content. If you haven't seen my content, check it out. You can just see my page if you click up above there, or just see it after the live. But I actually still get that feeling of nervousness whenever I go to different events. It still happens. It still not happens naturally. You know that feeling like in your heart where you're like, and like you're like kind of overthinking in a way about, I don't know what's going to come. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't predict the future. And you get kind of stressed out because you can't predict the future. That still happens. And no matter how many reps I do or how much rejection therapy I do, I actually still feel that feeling. But the thing is, you need to accept it, and you need to accept that sometimes you are just going to be afraid. You are going to feel that. But the difference between the people that get what they want and the people that don't get what they want is the people that get what they want, they do it despite being afraid. That's the only difference. And just embrace that emotion. Stop avoiding it. If I say, oh, I have to be very, very confident when I walk to this event, like for example, this event that I'm doing, I'm going to be public speaking in front of 100 people. If I say, oh, I need to be very, very confident when I go to my event, and I arrive at my event and just naturally my emotions take over and I start being, oh my God, I'm a bit 100 people. I start overthinking in my head. Then of course I'm going to panic. And of course I'm not going to perform that well. But beforehand, if I've already primed myself and I've already told myself, you know what, I'm going to go to this event, I'm probably going to be a bit nervous because it's something I've never done before. I'm speaking in front of 100 people. Of course, I'm going to be a bit nervous, and I accept that. That means on the day, whenever I get those feelings of nerves, I can just embrace that feeling of nervousness. I can be like, right, I'm feeling nervous, but that is okay. That is my brain trying to protect me, because back in caveman times, whenever you felt nervous, it's probably because you were under attack, or it was probably because you were about to do something that would get you killed. Whereas now when you feel nervous, it's normally things that actually won't kill you. Like, for example, public speaking is people's number one fear. Public speaking isn't actually going to kill you. If you publicly speak in front of a bunch of people, you're still going to be fine, but your brain just naturally associates that with fear, and it associates fear with death, and it all goes back to your fear of death. So if you just accept that, thank you, brain, for trying to protect me, but I'm going to ignore this emotion. I'm going to do it anyway. You'll be grand. So to answer your question, yes, I still do get, I wouldn't say social anxiety, but I still do get a bit of nervousness, anxiousness before I do new things that I haven't done, before I go to events, before I meet new people. But the thing is, I just embrace it. Whereas beforehand, I would have got that feeling and I would have like hid away. I would have not done what I needed to do. I would have like not took opportunities. But now I get the feeling and I just do it anyway. And that's what I believe every single person should do. And it's very important. I'm going to, any questions, just fire this in. You need another buzz cut, trust. Yeah, I was just wearing a hat today, so my hair is just very kind of shit, you know. Colin, I always help anyone because they never know. Exactly, Colin. You never know when someone needs help, so always do what you need to do to get the help. Right. I think that's all the questions through, folks. I actually really enjoyed this. This was a really, really great live. Really like talking about, for anyone that's on now, we were just talking about ego. And just to give you a bit brief summary, basically we were saying about how ego is the enemy, how passion is like not as good as people think. Just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean you're going to move forward. What's more important is purpose. And what's more important than purpose is actually having a plan. So you have passion, that's fine. It's good to be passionate. More importantly though, you need a purpose, which actually helps other people. And then you need a plan behind that purpose. So like if I'm passionate about being the best chef possible, my food could still be really, really shit. Just because I'm passionate does not mean anything. Whereas if I have a purpose, it's like, right, I'm not just passionate, I also have a purpose. I want to cook the best food ever. Then I'm like, okay, I'm serving other people. I'm cooking them a better meal. And then when I have a plan, and I actually have a plan of how I'm going to be a better chef, then that's how I'm actually going to then progress and improve. So that's what we really talked about. And then we were just talking about how you should learn from every single person and every single thing that happens to you. Like today would have been one of the days where I wouldn't have done this live because like I've just faced a bit of shit. And it would be very easy for me to be like, nah, I can't be bothered. But it's those days when you don't want to do it that actually count for the most. That is what real consistency is. If you really, really enjoy something, if I really, really enjoy eating oats in the morning, I'm not really that consistent if I eat oats every single morning because I enjoy eating those oats. Whereas if I don't enjoy going up and going for a run, but I do it every morning, that is what real consistency is. And real consistency, you build it up. It is a skill. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining. If we have any final questions, going to give you 10 seconds to just write it in. We are going to call this up. We have got about 15 people in the live right now. Folks, there's a fine line between a high self-esteem and having an ego. Yeah, exactly. So ego isn't just like, before I go, ego can sometimes get very, very confused to being like, okay, ego is just, if I sit here and I'm like, I'm the best person ever, showing my muscles. Ego isn't just that. Ego is also, and more importantly, it is actually inside your head where it's like, right, you're almost afraid to do things. Ego is linked to your fear of rejection. Ego is linked to you not doing something because you care too much about what other people think. And that's what's actually not popularly talked about when it comes to ego. When someone says, oh, someone has an ego, they just think, oh yeah, I have an ego. I'm like Donald Trump. That's what a lot of people assume when they think of ego. But ego could also be like the quiet person in the corner that is actually that is really good at guitar, but they're actually afraid to play guitar in front of other people because their ego's getting in the way. Ego isn't always just going to be, I'm the best person ever. Ego can be, oh, I'm too scared to do this, so I'm not going to do it. So remember, just because you're not going about flexing does not mean you have an ego. All of us suffer with ego in a way, and there's different levels to how we suffer with ego as well. And just remember, ego is the enemy. Very important. So, folks, I'm going to wrap this up. We're on multiple devices. TikTok, say hello to Instagram. Instagram, say hello to TikTok. We're going to shoot TikTok. You're going first. See you later. Thank you very much for listening, by the way. Instagram, I'm going to keep you on the back. I'm going to put off YouTube now too as well and stream on Instagram. Apologies, we do need